It's finally here. The Mirai Guardian and Guardian QI have arrived in Star Citizen after lengthy leaks and a rumor mill in overdrive. I've personally been excited about this one for a while, as it fills a niche that did not have much competition: fighters with interiors. Having a place to log out in the game, namely a bed, is what sets this and the Vanguard apart from the Lightning, plus fuel range, which is huge for me. I went with the standard Guardian, but the QI would be identical in a walkthrough except for a different missile loadout and the addition of a quantum dampener. The Guardian comes with 2 size 5 laser cannons stock, which I've swapped here for repeaters, as well as 4 size 4 missile racks, which come stock with size 2s. This puts it in line DPS-wise with other heavy fighters and feels pretty balanced that way. The exterior design showcases how far CIG have come with ship design, and I think it's amazing. It's giving Star Wars TIE silencer vibes, which I love. Having that personal storage and a weapon rack at the front of the ship make it very convenient for looting and mission running. If you enter from the front entrance, you'll be put immediately in the bubble cockpit. The view is phenomenal. I do wish the animation was a bit faster, especially if you're under attack, but still, it's well done. Exiting your seat puts you inside the ship rather than outside, though there is an option to exit from the front as well if you just look down at your seat between your legs. The central habitation area is cozy, with a single bed, personal storage, kitchenette, and bathroom, with a kind of working mirror that you'll see in a second. These features don't work yet, but will be a huge benefit for longer range engagements in the future, so you don't have to worry about carrying food and water in your backpack when you won't even be able to fly your ship with a backpack on at some point. The next 2 areas are used for engineering and ship parts, which we can expect to matter in the 4-point cycle sometime in 2025. And at the very rear of the ship, we have another weapons locker, a suit locker, and a secondary entrance with a small elevator. This is super convenient for letting, say, a guest in at the same time as you're entering the ship, or for carrying boxes or whatever you're having in your hands. Overall, amazing design. I'm very glad I waited for this one. It's fitting into my fleet perfectly. It's great for solo play. It fits inside a Polaris for crew play. It can support larger engagements or just be used for running around doing your own thing. Something big to keep in mind about the Guardian is range. The Lightning, while it is a great ship, has quite a bit less fuel. If you find yourself living off of stations or carriers, this will matter less to you. But I prefer to head out for longer trips when I'm in my ships, and fuel is a big thing in my books. The Guardian sits in line with the Vanguard here, which is great. I find myself jumping all over the system with this ship already, and she's quickly become my solo flyer for most activities. With an upgraded quantum drive, I chose to go with the civilian grade A Chimera. She'll take you across Pyro quite quickly, and I find myself beating my crew to destinations on a regular basis who haven't upgraded their drives yet. Outside of travel, the biggest feature of this ship is going to be maneuverability, which seems to be what Mirai is going for as a manufacturer. You can navigate through asteroid fields, canyons, combat scenarios quite easily. She's a dream to land and takes off very quickly. The thrusters at the rear are also better protected than they seem at first glance, with large struts or wings on the outside shielding them from outside fire and damage. This is good because if you do lose one, you aren't going anywhere. Spam flares with the missiles coming in, avoid taking damage to the rear of your ship and you'll be fine. From the sides, you're quite well protected, but just keep in mind that is a strength and weakness at the same time of this ship. At the moment, I'm finding the Guardian perfect for solo exploration, bounty hunting, and ground missions. The placement of the lockers on the front of the ship make her great for looting, and her speed plus small footprint make canyon running and hiding from turrets fairly easy for a competent pilot. If you stick to third-person view, which is a bit less exciting than first-person, but much more cinematic, you get this amazing design, some awesome screenshots. It just makes exploration in particular really enjoyable. While I do love my Corsair, which most of you will have seen that I fly the most often, she suffers from a little bit of a disadvantage without a full crew. This is going to get worse as engineering comes online. So it's my opinion that having an option for solo sessions when crew aren't available is going to be crucial. I upgraded my Terrapin to the Guardian. So size, range, and speed were my deciding points, and this ship checked them all. A lot of the facilities and bunkers and towns in Pyro specifically have very good turret coverage, and some of those turrets are ballistic. They're very deadly. So having a ship that can come in fast, get low, navigate very quickly through low terrain, keeping hills and mountains obstructing the view of the turrets, and land in a small area concealed by rocks or a barrier of some kind has made the Guardian a really good pick for me very quickly for these kinds of missions. If you're with one or two friends and you're all in fighters, great, but a bigger ship is going to have to land further away from any of these sites. You can also use the gun convergence in the front to clear sites out very easily. Some ships I find doing this can be difficult because the guns are placed so far apart, whereas smaller ships, like the Terrapin that I had before, have great weapon convergence for ground troops. The Guardian sits right in the middle. It doesn't converge perfectly, but it's not too far apart, and it makes strafing a ground site to clear it out very straightforward. Otherwise, in other kinds of combat, the Guardian performs as you'd expect. She hits very hard, but can't take much of a punch back. You're going to want to keep moving, use your lateral thrusters often, and keep your nose on the target. I've been running back through certifications and bounty reps since the 4.0 wipe, and I've had no issues with targets up to HRT solo with the Guardian. Once you have more targets, you may have problems because you do have those weaker thrusters at the rear. Missiles are also a really big threat because of the exposed canopy at the front. So you're going to have to use flares and movement appropriately. But if you can maintain time on target, the Guardian is a dream to use. She maneuvers very well. Keeping your nose on multiple targets is not difficult. I have avoided flying into asteroids in the dark several times because she maneuvers so fast. You pulse, you realize, oh my god, there's a giant asteroid right there I didn't see. If I was in a Corsair, I would have died. The Guardian just moves as if with your thought. She's quite maneuverable and quite responsive. With the two size 5s, small and medium targets are going to go down pretty quickly, at least when it comes to NPCs. In PvP, there's going to be some more nuance here. We can do a different video on that later. But with the attrition 5s and Rattler missiles, the only problem I'm having is the rearm cost when I get back, because Rattlers have become quite expensive. So I'm using my guns more, I'm avoiding ballistics with this ship, and I'm using missiles sparingly. Overall, I'm very happy with the Guardian. She's become a daily flyer for me quite quickly. I think that the hype was deserved. I think the people saying the ship is likely to be nerfed aren't necessarily wrong. CIG has a habit of balancing things out after they've been sold, but firepower-wise, she sits in line with her competition. 2 size 5s is not crazy, considering the Vanguard's 4 size 2s, 1 size 5, and when crewed, 2 size 2s or 3s on the roof. So it feels pretty balanced to me. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you pick up a Guardian or a Guardian QI? Are you waiting for it to be in-game viable? Are you passing on this one entirely for some reason? Let me know in the comments what you think of it. And if you are looking for a crew to fly with or to complete these missions with together in Pyro, so it's a bit safer than flying alone, you can always join our Discord or apply for our org. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me make these for you. And as always, fly safe out there.